Hey crafty friends, Jen Cassell here. I'm back with the tutorial for the pop-up toaster card that I created for Scrapdiva Designs. Here is all of her information. Here's the site and info on the back. Make sure you use that hashtag Scrapdiva Designs. You can find so much inspiration there. Of course, you can use my coupon code JEN10 for 10% off your purchase. But let's get to the tutorial. So we are going to be working with the toast and egg die as well as the toaster die that are both available at Scrapdiva Designs. I did also use the heart plate die. I believe this is heart plate 3 that I used. And then I also used, this is from the file folder die. I did this for the decorative pull at the top. And then of course you'll see the heart plate in the background. I also used, this is from the wallet set, the pattern paper overlays, but what I liked about this is it's exactly what I needed size-wise, so I used this, but you could also hand cut as well. Now, one of the other things that we are really going to need for this are foamies. Today I am going to be using the cubies from Barely Art as well as some liquid glue from Barely Art as well. Once again, you can use my coupon code and I will link everything in the description box. My coupon code for Barely Art is Jen. So what we are creating is this card right here, and it's got a fun pop-up element. When you pull the tab, the toaster comes out of, or the toast comes out of the toaster. So not too hard to do. It looks much more complicated than what it is. I have already cut out my toaster and I did double layer this. I used the holographic paper in the background, and then I did a layer of pink cardstock. This is basil cardstock, so it is a bit heavier weight. I would want at least 80-pound cardstock for this. I would not do 65 pounds. And make sure to layer it up because you want a really sturdy backing right up here where the paper gets really thin. And then you also have handles that come with the toaster, and you are also going to want to cut, I did 2 of the hearts that are also included in the toaster die set. So this once again is my pull tab. Now my pull tab measures 3 3/4 by about 5.5. You can size this as you wish, but this was a really convenient size here. Once again, I used that heart plate die and I did some inking. I did Tim Holtz peacock feathers as well as salvaged patina on this. This is the cardstock that I'm using for the back of the card. I didn't do it with this one, but I wanted to add it so that there was a place to write a little note to your recipients. You're also going to need 2 pieces of cardstock. Now this is going to go behind the heart plate here, and it measures 4 5/8 by 5 7/8. You'll want 2 of these. You're also going to want, this is the holographic that's going to go back of this. This one is 6 by 4 3/4. And then my pink is my base, and I did this 5 by 6 1/4. Now I have also cut, here are 3 of the toasts. Now the toasts are 3 layers. I cut the back layer in walnut from basil. The second layer I believe is almond cream. Yeah, I think it's almond cream. And then I actually cut this 3rd layer out of almond cream as well, and added some distress ink to each layer. And I believe I used tea dye for this. So you'll want 3 of these. You'll also want the egg, which I've already pre-cut. This I've double layered as well just to sturdy it up a bit, and I did add some distress ink around here. And then this I did on my Cricut. I just created a little cut file and the marker, and it says just popping by to say. And then I also did the hello. The hello I layered 3 times, and I did this really cool teal glitter, just white for the back. And then I cut this in white as well and made sure to ink it up with some of that peacock feather. For the first step of the card, I am going to just add this holographic paper to the pink. I'm going to use liquid glue for that. I'm going to use some of my Barely Art. So I have my holographic layer, and now I'm going to take the first of the 2 white pieces that I cut out, and I'm just going to layer that on the holographic. You can obviously use cubies here as well, but I am actually using a bunch of the cubies on this next layer, so I didn't want to get it too thick. As it is, it's kind of a thick card. I'd say it's about a 1/2 inch wide once I was done layering, because you're going to want to layer to allow movement of the pop-up portion, and you're also going to want to layer on the toaster to allow the toast to pop up from it. So you've got a pretty thick card. Now for this next part, I'm going to bring my pop-up element in, and I am just going to kind of measure out where this pop-up element sits. So I'm just going to come in with a pencil, and I want this to kind of go up a little bit. I don't want it to sit underneath so that you'll be able to see the top. So I'm just going to kind of level that right here, and I'm going to make a couple marks just to where I need my cubies. Okay, I'll set that aside. I'm gonna come in. This is gonna work a lot easier for you if you have strips. And for this portion, I am using the 1/4 inch strips. So if you don't have these, you are probably going to want to double up your paper or your foam. I'm just following that line. I'm staying on the other side of the line because you want it snug, but you don't want it tight. This last one, it's not a shaker, so I mean, it doesn't need to be perfect, but you also want to make sure it has something to fall onto so that it doesn't slide all the way down. I'm going to set this aside for a moment, and then I'm going to work with these 2 pieces here. So I am just going to glue my heart template down on top of this white, and I'm going to glue directly to it. I'm not adding any more foamies to this portion, okay? Now that I have this together, I am going to measure out where I am going to put my pop-up mechanism. So I want this about 1.5 inches over. So my ruler is 1.5 inches in thickness. And then I also want to bring it down about 3/4 of an inch from the top white layer. So mine is going to go right here like this. This is approximately where I want my pop-up mechanism. Now, when I have my piece measured out, I'm just gonna add a little mint tape to it. Now, this is a low-tech tape from Scrapbook.com. I'm not affiliated with them. I just really, really like this tape. It's great for die cutting because it's low tech. It's not going to harm your surface. I especially like it when I'm using digitally printed papers. A lot of tapes can make it lift. So when I'm die cutting with those kind of papers, I use the mint tape so that I can keep my die in place while lifting the print of the paper. So I'm gonna run this through my die cutting machine, and I'll be right back. All right, as you can see, my mat has kind of switched up a little bit. So when you run this through, you may or may not get a really clean cut. So don't be afraid to go in with an X-Acto knife and help yourself out a little bit. Now, this is a fun little tool that I absolutely love. This is from Excel Blades. And this is their, it's a precision tool. I love this. It just fits so nicely in your finger, and the color's really cute. If you've never tried Excel blades before, run. They are amazing. So I am just going to take my blade and run right along that line and help it a little bit. So we're left with this. Now you are going to want to take your square cubies I am using for this. I have cut 2 white circles here. This is just scrap paper. I used a 1-inch hole punch to do it. You can have them whatever size. If you're using this pop-up mechanism for a different card, you can just kind of size these to fit. This is just going to help the card slide and give it a little movement. So I'm going to come over and I'm going to put 2 cubies in the center and just leave it like that. I'll take the back. I am just going to pop that in from the bottom. Lay that down like that. So I pulled out my toast and toaster. I am going to add this white piece right on top here. And I am going to put my first toast slice on top to cover it. I want my toast to kind of come like this. Yeah, right about there. And I am kind of angling it out a little bit because I wanted to give it a little more movement by putting this one kind of in an angle like this. So I am just going to glue that down right about there. I'm going to come in with my Barely Art glue, and then I'm just going to pop this down here. I like this placement. When I was figuring out the logistics of this card, I was trying to figure out the placement of the toaster and the toast, because this does not go through the slits on the top. This one actually sits behind it a little bit, but the second one has to go through the slits. All right, so you want to be able to use this to measure where you want to put your toaster. So what I did was insert the toast in there, and then I am going to add, I used a cubie once again to give it a little movement. So I am just going to put this right here. I want to put that right on the bottom. Now, as you can see, I didn't add any of those where there would be any interference with the toast coming in. Now, this is about where I want my toast coming out. So I am just going to bring this down. I'm kind of holding this because it wants to move forward. You want to hold it flat. So I think I want my toast right about here. So I am just going to lay everything down. I think I like this. Yeah, this is cute. Okay, so right here. All right, now I'm gonna work on my tag portion here. So I am putting this right on top like this, and I'm just gonna use a little liquid glue for it. I'm gonna come in with these 2 hearts, and I'm just gonna position this right about here, I think. So I'm just gonna lay this right here. I like that. And then I'm gonna flip it over, and I'm gonna add my other heart to the back, and I'm gonna put glue all over this one. And you wanna make sure that is really adhered. Now that I have this together, I am going to bring this over, and this should sit nicely right where we want it. I'm gonna come over and I'm going to take these off. Now we want this in the lowest position, which it isn't all the way down, so we don't need a large portion, but if you are hand cutting, you can make it smaller if it's a little easier for you. I'm gonna come in with this right here, I'm gonna make sure that this is in the down position, and then I'm just going to line up 2 white pieces. Okay, just like that. I'm gonna really press down on that toast. I'm gonna let that dry for a minute while I do the front portion here. So for the hello, I am just going to layer this directly on the white. I'm gonna use some pop-ups for this portion here. All right, so I have my hello made, super cute. I'm gonna come over here with that 3rd piece of toast. Kind of like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep it the exact same way as I did before. I do like the design of this card. And I'd be really interested to see what you guys do with this tutorial. What kind of fun pop-up cards you create. Want to make sure that it doesn't come near this. I'm actually going to pull that down just a tad. And then I'm going to come in with my egg. Yeah. You could pop this up too if you wanted, but I've already got quite a bit of dimension on this color. And I will add a couple of cubies to the back of this hello. Add that here. Okay, and we should be dry on the inside, so boom, just popping by to say hello. So here's your pop-up. Super cute, right? So don't forget to head on over to Scrapdiva Designs. You can use my coupon code JEN10 for 10% off your purchase. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more crafty content. I'll see you in the next crafty video. Bye.